Well, hello, people of the internet. Welcome back to another video. I am here just crouched in my greenhouse looking at some of these plants because it was 28 degrees last night, and while this greenhouse does keep it quite a bit warmer in here than it is outside, when it's 28 degrees, it still gets pretty cold in here. So I actually already came out and checked on these plants this morning, and I saw that a few of them had frost damage, so I was just coming out now to check and make sure that none of them bounced back. They all did in fact die. The only plants that seemed to have any problem were the cosmos and one zinnia that was actually in a single cell container over there on the shelf. So I'm pretty sure mostly we just lost a few cosmos, which is pretty good. So let me show you the damage. This right here is what I mean. That is frost damage. Basically, when plants get too cold, the water in them freezes and their cell walls burst, because when water freezes, it expands. So their cell walls were basically just destroyed, and now they cannot keep themselves up. And a few of these had already been eaten down by slugs, so it looks like I need to start multiple more cosmos, which is fine because those are one of the more fast-growing things that I have in here, so could be worse. Oh, it looks like a little primrose popped up. That's awesome. The primroses are taking forever, up to 45 days on those. I need to come and water out here. They're getting a little dry on the tops of some. Yeah, I don't see any other primroses up besides that one. I did bring these 3 trays of tomatoes inside last night because I knew it was going to be cold, and I knew it was going to be cold enough that I didn't want the tomatoes to end up like those cosmos over there. This right here is the only zinnia with frost damage that I was talking about, and this one didn't even get damaged, so that one was just closest to the wall or weaker. I don't really know. But these are all zinnias. I'm going to have to replant these because slugs hate me. I just had the door open for a minute because it was hot enough in here that I was sweating. I think it got up to 65 degrees today. It is supposed to freeze again tonight, so I will be bringing these tomatoes in the house again. But tomorrow night is the last night in the foreseeable forecast that it's supposed to freeze, so hopefully I should be able to move out all of my tomatoes, including all the ones in the bigger containers in the grow tent. I'm going to move those out as soon as I can so that then the peppers and other small things, my houseplants especially, can have some space back under my lights. Quite a few trays of plants in here, and I've got some missing even, so there's these, plus these 4, plus at least 2 more in the house, plus all the ones that are in like the big individual containers rather than these small ones. And these are the blackberries. They're thornless blackberries that my parents got for me. Those are great. Oh, I guess these aren't technically tomatoes. These are little tomatillos, but I don't have very many of those. I think just 9, and 2 of them didn't even come up, but 2 of them have 2, so maybe I could transplant some. I used some of the greens from these onions to make homemade beef and broccoli last night, and fried rice, and put this in both of those, and it was delicious. This is the first time that I've grown onions, so this is the first time I've been able to use my onion greens. I haven't checked on my compost in a few days. Oh, I forgot. We accidentally set my compost bin to where the front's over here, so now it's like on the other side of where I would normally stand. That's okay, because then my own stuff is in the background instead of my neighbor's property. Just give me just a minute to spin this. It's warm inside of both of these. I'm getting pretty broken down. I have a bowl of food scraps inside that I need to add to here, actually. I know it's hard to see. I'm trying to block the light. There we go. You can tell that there's like broken down leaves in there. It's more moist in this side, so I should add food to the other side. The sad pepper plants that I had to sacrifice because there was aphids and spider mites all over them. I kept them inside for so long. Aw. Look at this little guy. Having the time of his life. So happy that there's flowers out again. Thanks, dude. You're always welcome here. The kale that I put out might have gotten a little bit hit by the 28 degrees last night. These outer leaves are definitely frost damaged, but they seem fine integrity-wise, like middle. I hope they stay. The strawberries are really starting to do something now. I actually forgot that these strawberries existed, and I moved them from over in that corner, covered with a bunch of stuff, to over here, and they've already grown quite a bit since putting them here. I need to take a day and clean out the garden. These bolting Brussels sprouts need to go. I did fertilize my garlic not too long ago, and they definitely started shooting up and putting. I will probably fertilize them again in less than a week because I had not fertilized them at all, and they will need it. The kales over here didn't do as good. Darn. I think that one might have already been dead, but this one didn't do as well. Hopefully it'll be okay though. I have so many videos saved on my phone currently that my phone is telling me I'm only allowed to record for 51 seconds, so I need to go take care of that by... Okay, I know it cut off as I was talking, but I had enough space filled up on my phone that I had to move videos from my phone to my laptop, otherwise it wasn't going to let me record any more videos. So it took almost 45 minutes to move a bunch of my videos from my phone to my laptop, so I've been repotting some tomatoes. Let me show you. So these tomatoes with the white tags are the containers that I originally planted the tomatoes in, but since I was seeding them pretty late, I wanted to guarantee my germination, so some of them I put 2 or more seeds in. So I've been taking one out of the grow tent here with taking one that had multiple tomatoes in it out of the grow tent and separating the tomatoes. So like this bag had 2 tomatoes in it, and I separated one and put it in here, and then this bag had 2, I separated one and put it in there. This bag had 2, I separated one and put it in there. So now from 3 tomatoes, I have 6. That will make me more money and get more people plants. And also create healthier plants. This white dust on them is diatomaceous earth. It's just for any potential bugs or anything that could be in the soil or on the leaves, including aphids, spider mites, gnats, fungus gnats, anything like that. I do have a little bit of a aphid issue and a tiny bit of a fungus gnat issue, so I just put that on there every once in a while, mostly after I water, so that it can stay on there as long as possible. And it has been helping a lot with the bug population. Let me turn that fan off. I'm sure it's hard to hear me. So I still have quite a few tomato plants back there that have multiple tomatoes in them. But sometimes I have to wait on what I want to do, which is separate the tomatoes, and get done some things that I need to do, which is the dishes and cleaning the kitchen. So my reward for the dishes and cleaning the kitchen will be to come and finish separating out these tomatoes. Tomatoes are one of the plants that don't really mind too much when you disturb their roots, and you can also just plant them deeper even if you break off a lot of the roots, because because tomato plants will create roots along their entire stem, basically those little hairs. I'm not sure if the hairs themselves turn into roots, or if the hairs is just an indication that it is a type of plant that will root, or maybe it's both. I'm not really sure. So I'm going to do these dishes, which were mostly created from me making homemade beef and broccoli with fried rice for dinner, and then also from me making bread. So we have an artisan loaf, a focaccia loaf, and it's gonna be 3 baguettes, but it's just 1 loaf right now. I'm going to have to stretch and fold these here in just a minute for the last time, and then they're all gonna have to rest for 12 hours. So that's what I'm doing right now, but I also wanted to say that I hope you guys are having an amazing first day of spring. Today is the first actual day of spring, and I'm so excited. Today is Today is Tuesday, March 19th. 67 degrees outside today with a cool breeze, and it's sunny and it feels so nice and spring-like, even though it was 28 degrees last night overnight. Tonight it's supposed to get down to 32 degrees, 0 degrees Celsius if you don't know, which is exactly freezing. So since 28 degrees only killed 1 or 2 seedlings out there, I'm not too worried about the 32 degrees. And I will be seeding some more cosmos to replace the ones that didn't make it. Alright guys, I'm going to get these dishes done and fold this bread one more time, and then I will check back in with you guys. Hello again. I just got done bringing in all of the tomato seedlings from outside because it's going to get cold tonight. Well, it was supposed to get down to 32. And I just checked the weather, and it now says it is only going to get down to 46 tonight. So I left most of the things in the greenhouse and just brought the tomatoes in just to be sure, because Missouri is bipolar and likes to randomly choose what the weather is going to be based on how it feels. So I brought all the tomatoes in. Now there's a bunch of tomatoes on the floor over there and right here. And I also put 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of my trays from the floor onto shelves and on top of containers and on top of stools and stuff in the greenhouse to try and minimize the rest of the slug damage that could potentially come. So I have all of the zinnias, sunflowers, the things that they've been commonly eating up on shelves, so hopefully they'll be okay in the morning. Hello everybody, good morning, how the heck are ya? And also, happy coffee, as always. Today is a few days later from the first bit of this video that you would have seen. I did not finish it, as is a trouble that I have continuously. So for the last few days, you can see a little bit down in this corner, I think, I've had all of my starts in the greenhouse lifted up off of the floor on top of 5-gallon buckets, growing containers, terracotta pots. I have this wooden table and this metal shelf in here. I do have a little rolling like garden stool that has an opening flap at the top. It's literally just like this big, enough to sit on, and I have 2 trays sitting on top of that. I just wanted as few trays as possible to be sitting on the actual ground because I have been getting a lot of slug damage. And quite frankly, I don't have time to restart a lot of the things because a lot of these are being sold at the Tulip Festival at the beginning of April. So I've been trying to just do everything I can to protect them because that's less than a month away, and quite a few of the things I have in here take 2 weeks to even germinate, let alone to become a sizable plant that somebody would want to buy. I have restarted a few things, being zinnias and cosmos. I've started more sunflowers, but those are honestly just so that I can still have the same amount of plants, because a lot of my cosmos have died, a lot of my zinnias have been eaten by slugs, and a couple of my sunflowers have been eaten by slugs, but sunflowers grow really quickly, so I know those will be ready to go by the time the festival comes. For some reason, the slugs really love the zinnias. They are like going out of their way to eat those first, so those are some of the first ones that I had to take off the ground. For example, this. Can you even tell? Yeah, right there. Those are little stems that were from zinnias, and then the slugs came and ate the tops off, so now they don't have a growth point, and they died. This one is actually frost damage, but this, and this are all from slugs. Oh, and that third one in line there also. So I have more of these zinnias started. They're just in the house. But other than that, everything seems to be doing really well. Last night was the second night that my little baby tomatoes stayed outside fully all night. Well, in the greenhouse, not really outside. And they're doing really good. In fact, I had 3 tomatoes in here. It would be this one, and this one that didn't germinate with the rest, and I just left it. I was going to reseed them with something else. But they decided over the last 2 days in the greenhouse that they wanted to sprout. So I'm fine with that. They're a little bit behind the rest, but that is okay. And I have not seen, I started these in the house, and I'm having a little bit of a bug problem in the house. Spider mites on my living room plants, and aphids on my grow room plants. So I'm very happy with the fact that I've not seen any bugs of any kind on those tomatoes. Love that. Love that for me. So really, I just wanted to take a little bit of time this morning to come out to the greenhouse, tell you a little bit what's been going on since the last little bit of this video, and also just finish up the video, because I didn't. I do sadly have to work today, so I don't have much time to be out here. Otherwise, I would spend my whole day out here, to be honest. I need to, and am planning to, spend the entirety of Monday just on my plants. Monday is my Saturday, in case you guys were not aware. I work through the weekend. I get off on Monday, so it being my first day off, I have a lot of things to do in my house and otherwise, but I think I'm going to take the entirety of this coming Monday to just take care of these plants, to take out the little containers that have been eaten on by slugs, reseed them with something else. All of my basil died in the frost. It got down to 28 degrees a few nights ago, and my basil slipped my mind. I brought all of the tomatoes inside that were out here, and I was like, yeah, that should be everything. I was like, I already started more zinnias, so I didn't bring the zinnias in. I was like, those will either live or they won't. A few cosmos died, but mostly my entire flat of 18 basil sprouts wiped out. So maybe I'm going to start a whole new tray of basil, at least for me, even if I can't bring it to the festival in time. I need to start the basil for me, and I am going to keep them in the house and also cover them with like a humidity dome or plastic wrap or something like that to try and get them to sprout as fast as possible, so that maybe I could take some to the festival. Oh, speaking of, I actually received an email from the curator of the festival saying that they made some changes to previous years in how the vendors will be lining up and able to enter and use their vehicles to set up their booths and stuff, because apparently it was a scramble before this. So that is getting very, very close, considering even the people who are making the festival are now sending out emails with frequently asked questions and information and stuff. So I'm getting very, very nervous about that. I'm really excited, but I am a very nervous individual. Even though I talk to you guys here, I'm literally talking to my phone screen right now and looking at, well, I'm not looking at myself, I'm looking at the camera, but I am right there. If I want to look at something, I'm just looking at myself. So it doesn't feel very awkward to talk to myself alone or to a camera, whereas I'm going to be speaking, like actually to other humans, for 2 whole days back to back, and potentially thousands of people. I'm potentially going to talk to a couple thousand people, and that is terrifying to me. Alright guys, that's enough talking. Let's look around the greenhouse and see if my shelving helped the slug matters. So you can see over here, this is Love in a Mist Midnight Nigella, and these ones, not a lot of those popped up. I've not got good germination on that. Only these two, actually. That's pretty annoying. And then these are Italian oregano. This was definitely not oregano. I don't know what that was, and slugs ate it anyway, so I'm just gonna pull it. But these little babies are all Italian oregano, and I do have decent germination on those, gladly. I don't know what this is. Not oregano, though. I got 99% germination on my sunflowers. This one still has a seed on it and looks like it might sprout, but it looks like it might have gotten too cold or something. I don't know what's up with that one. These two were eaten by slugs, and this one never germinated at all. So this is the only one that I've never seen anything from. So all of these little sunflower babies have a set of true leaves, except a couple of them are a little younger. Here we have the cilantro tray. It is half slow bolt cilantro and half Moroccan cilantro. I got way better germination in the slow bolt cilantro than I did in the Moroccan, and I might reseed those because I want some for myself also. Here is my tray of tomatoes. I'm getting a little bit of green algae growth on the top of those, but that's okay. It's not really going to hurt anything. Another tray of tomatoes. These ones are heavily seeded because it's a rainbow blend, and I want people to be able to have multiple varieties if they buy the blend. And then these 2 rows over here are tomatillos. This is Coral Fountain Amaranth and Incredible Swirl Coreopsis that I just took off the top shelf because you guys were sitting on it so that I could film. This is Triple Curled Parsley with quite a lot of germination going on in there, and also a lot of grass. This compost was sitting in my front yard for quite a while, and got some grass seed in there, but that's okay. This is my English thyme. I had some slug damage in this yesterday, and you can still see the remnants of the slime from the slug, but it doesn't look like I have any more damage today. So, seems I have nothing in these 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like I have nothing in like 9 of them, so only 50% germination on that, which is a bit sad. I will start some more. I'll probably sell all of these ones and start more just for myself. These are the primroses. We've got Wanda mixed color primrose and Victoriana gold lace black primrose. And I do believe this is a primrose seedling. This is just a weed. This is grass. Most of these primroses have not come up yet. The package says that they can take up to 45 days to sprout, and I don't have the date on here that I planted them. I would have to go look inside on my computer to see what day they were planted, but I know it's not been 45 days. Oh, got a little bit of slug slime over here, but these 2 stayed on the ground. So this one is the tray of basil, or not, yeah, the tray of basil that I'm obviously gonna have to reseed. There's nothing alive in there. Oh well, there's a tiny bit of green and a tiny bit of green. I think it's mostly dead in there. And then this tray is my rosy rosemary, which either has just had really bad germination, or has all died, or been eaten. I'm not sure if that is rosemary or not, but all of the rest of these just have grass. So I have these 2 trays that need replanted. This tray here, common chives and Chinese chives, both of which have just started coming up within the last couple days. So we have these Chinese chives here coming up a little quicker. And I don't actually see any in the common chives, but I'm sure they're coming. They take up to 21 days to sprout, so they're doing what they can. These little guys here are my pride and joy right now. They are dwarf tomatoes. They are called orange hat dwarf tomatoes. They stay, I think, 16 inches tall, and they produce a lot of little orange tomatoes. So those will be cool. And then these are Brad's Atomic Grape tomatoes. Over here we've got Goblin Gaillardia and Lavender Queen butterfly peas. These are the peas that can be used as a natural, or these are the flowers rather, that can be used as a natural food dye. So that's cool, but we only had 3 of those germinate out of 9, so I'll definitely have to replant some of those, at least for me. Over here we've got Goblin Gaillardia, and we've got pretty good germination on that, even though some of them have been eaten by buggies. This one doesn't have anything in it, but the rest do. Last but not least, we have Black Knight Scabiosa over here on the right, and we have Bells of Ireland over here on the left. The Bells of Ireland are very leggy because I started them inside, and I didn't notice they had sprouted for over 24 hours after they sprouted, so some of them got very, very leggy, but some of them did germinate once they got out here. There are still some usable ones. I'll probably just plant some seed for that directly in my garden, and sell all those ones. Okay, this is where I was recording from. You guys were sitting on top of that bucket. There's my coffee. Here on this shelf, we've got a bunch of zinnias. We've got Aztec Sunset zinnias here. We've got peppermint stick zinnias here, and these were queen lime blush zinnias that are almost all dead. Here we've got all the different kinds of cosmos, a lot of which died in the frost and got eaten by slugs. So we've got apricot lemonade, seashells blend, double click blend, all cosmos. And then these are actually pansies on the end. Aw, we got some pansy sprouts. That's the first time I've seen those sprouts actually. You guys are seeing them with me. So these are Brushstrokes Viola pansies, which are actually the same kind that I started last fall, and I have one plant in my garden right now. And then down here on the bottom, which I'm going to have to move these out because they're not getting very much sun down here, is nasturtiums. We've got the Orchid Flame, and then the Alaska Variegated nasturtium. And then here we've got Dwarf Rainbow Sweet Alyssum, and then Copper Red Straw Flower on the end. I'm just going to take this container and set it right here. Grab these. And they're just going to stay like that. So my greenhouse looks a little funny. There's some clutter over there, and then random plants just at different heights, but it really is helping with the slug damage. I was losing at least 4 whole plants a night, and now within the last 2 days having them up like this, I've only lost 1, maybe 2 plants, and that's not including the basil and the rosemary down there because those were already having issues. So this is doing much better, even though it is bothersome to have to deal with. My thornless blackberries from my parents are starting to put on little green growth. That's so cute. So I'm going to have to plant those soon. I'll probably put them in pots because this is a rental and I don't want to put them in the ground and then move and lose them. So, pots. I just want to show you what those pansies look like that I started last fall because they are gorgeous. So just over here in the garden, these are those pansies that just started to sprout, or the same kind as the ones that just started to sprout. And I started these ones from seed in the fall. So the plants grow pretty slow, but also it was winter with the least sun and the most cold. So those are so pretty with the tiny little flowers. So that's what those will look like. A little overview of the garden for you. I know we weren't out here much in this one. Oh, that red crate got blown out of the truck, I think. Okay guys, it is about time for me to head to work. I need to bring a bag of vegetables out here to my compost bin that has been sitting in my house for far too long. And then I'm just gonna get breakfast together and head to work. I am so excited to have the springtime back. It is even technically spring now. March 19th was the technical first day of spring. Even though it's still a little bit chilly here. I think it was 46 degrees when I woke up this morning. But it's been reaching about 70 degrees through the days. So we are getting there. It is almost gardening time, like in the full swing, plant whatever you want outside kind of gardening time. And that's the gardening time that I look forward to. Alright guys, I really appreciate you watching. I'm very happy with how the garden is doing already this year, and I'm very excitedly nervous about the festival coming. I'm sure I will have a couple more videos out before the festival showing you how all the plants are doing and whatnot. So, I gotta go for now, but I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.